Hello again. Thank you for choosing this breakout session. This is on staff work-life balance, which is not easy. My first question, just to kind of get things started, where's your go-to place to recharge, rejuvenate? Here, I'm in McConnell Springs in Lexington, Kentucky. Right over my shoulder are the boils, and that's considered an artesian spring where the water bubbles up, and then a couple hundred yards down, it goes into a sinkhole. There's something about being in nature that just is very soothing. In fact, there's a book I wanted to highlight called Forest Bathing. So for these 30 minutes, you're stuck with me here in McConnell Springs, which is pretty much a forest right in the middle of Lexington. But there are so many benefits to just being in a forest and savoring silence. So I'm going to give you a minute, and I want you to reflect, where's your go-to place? And if you don't mind, type it in the chat space or write it on the discussion guide that I shared. But think of your go-to space, and if you share it, it may inspire somebody else to explore that, or it may jar their memory of a time when they were in a different space and head back there. So just take a minute and think of your go-to place. Okay, as you go ahead and continue to think that and share that, I also want to share an excerpt from this book. It's called How to Fight by Thich Nhat Hanh. And the reason I like it is because he talks about the importance of stillness. That's why I chose this space, because I believe in the power of stillness. And in the whirlwind of a school year, when you're responsible to so many stakeholders, district leaders, school leaders, students, staff, families, community members, it's hard to find stillness. So I love this explanation of why stillness is so important. Even if a friend gives us a compliment, we find it difficult to receive their kind words. Most of the time, our mind, thoughts, and feelings aren't calm. They're like the water in a muddy lake which can't reflect the sky because it's been churned up by a storm. If we're not calm, we can't listen deeply and understand. But when our mind is calm, we can see reality more clearly, like still water reflecting the trees, the clouds, and the blue sky. Stillness is the foundation of understanding and insight. Stillness is strength. So one of my first challenges after this presentation, look, this is a workshop, but the real work is when you leave this 30 minutes and you decide what to do with it. But my first challenge is for you to find ways to savor silence. Start with a minute, start with 2. But that's my first challenge, savoring silence. Honestly, even if it's going to the bathroom and taking an extra minute before you head back to your office or the classroom, and just breathe. Get in the habit of taking deep belly breaths, because it regulates your nervous system. It calms you. It helps you use better parts of your brain. But just breathing better is important. And when you're in stillness, it happens naturally. But I also want you to practice, whether it's 15 breaths before you enter the school building. Maybe each step you walk in slowly. Maybe it's just 3 breaths before you leave the car. But I want you to be thinking about stillness and breathing, because This is going to be a challenging year. We know that. All right, the next thing I want you to think about is what I like to call is your go-to object. Okay, some of you have it. You'll know instantly what I'm talking about. Some of you have never thought about it. I refer to this as the Tom Cruise bat in A Few Good Men. Remember, he was at this critical point when he was trying to think, and he was just pacing. So it was a baseball bat. For me, that works, okay? I just sort of grip it, and it just sort of focuses me, just like in the movie. I could totally relate to that, okay? So when I'm stuck or I just need to do some thinking, there's something about just holding a baseball bat, walking with it. It just centers me, okay? Also in the background, you're going to see my dad's work boots. Some of you have been to my sessions at the school counselors conference. So you know I lost my dad to suicide in 2009. But having his boots in my classroom, now I brought him home this year, or his work gloves hanging out of the boots, or even his ring right here. These are things that when the going gets tough, it refocuses me. And I know that his energy, his essence, his love, all the love and pride he gave me, I still have. And it's my job to pull it out and use it to focus and fuel me forward. So again, take a minute and think about something, an object that you can go to just kind of center yourself, focus, energize. What is that? Again, please write it on your sheet. If you're bold enough and you want to share it with the chat group, that'd be great. It might inspire somebody else. So just, again, take a minute on that. Okay, this next one is kind of fun. I hope you all have a go-to song. Okay, again, I hate to wear this analogy out with Tom Cruise, but remember in Risky Business, okay, that dance that made him famous. Also in Jerry Maguire, he was dancing in the car, Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, okay? There are days going into work where you need to play your go-to song. Or maybe right before you pull into the garage, when you get home, play that song. It does something to you. It energizes you. It's that Rocky song that, Eye of the Tiger, whatever it is for you. Maybe you have more than one song. So create a playlist, but be intentional about using it for you. More importantly, though, here's my challenge. Be bold enough to share it with others. Okay, yeah, I'm an 80s child. Some of you are too. You remember the boom boxes, right? Okay, we didn't have our little headphones in our own little world. We were sharing our music and walking down the street with this big boom box, the bigger the better, on our shoulder. Some of you young people are like, you did what? Yeah, Google Images, boom boxes, 80s. Okay, and we were blaring our music because we wanted to share it with others. In fact, there was such a great vibe in the 80s. They were breakdancing in garages. People threw down cardboard and they were breakdancing, and they're pulling people in and teaching and spotting and helping each other breakdance. The world needs more of that kind of energy, celebration, togetherness. We need that. So I want you to find a way this year to not only use the song for yourself, but if it can walk its way into your office, your classroom, your school community, and your kids and colleagues can see just how powerful that song is, you will encourage them to find their own song, their go-to song when times are tough. But there's a rhythm to our lives. There should be a soundtrack to the life, and those dreams that you're designing and going after. It's okay. You should have a soundtrack for your soul. So be intentional about pulling those songs out when you need it. Again, I'd love to see them right now. What are your go-to songs? Maybe there's something I can share with others. But by all means, capture that. What songs come to mind right now that instantly put a bounce in your step? Or again, I call them the Rocky songs, because after I saw Rocky 4 with a friend, I woke up the next morning. I grew up in Wisconsin, and we ran in a snowstorm, slush and all, 3 miles from our house. I was in 5th grade. My mom didn't even know I left. I called her because we were too cold to run back. And I said, Mom, can you pick Rhett and I up at Hardee's? Yeah, we went for a run and we need help. But that's what a good song can do to you. It can light you up. What's your song? Okay, so just like a place, just like an object, just like a song that can center you and instantly kind of bring you back, recalibrate, and help you be the best version of you. Help that essence, that energy of you exude to the rest of the world. An activity should do that for you too. For me, it's baseball. Those of you who have heard me speak know how much I love baseball. I still play. As soon as I'm out there playing baseball, I forget everything else. And again, it's like I just got oxygen to my soul. Okay, for some people it's fishing or golf or walking, tennis. Okay, it doesn't even have to be something physical. It might be refurbishing old furniture. It might be painting a wall, right? You know, you just see it. Sometimes just organizing. But I want you to right now write your list of go-to activities that do those magical things for you. Okay, what are your go-to activities? Now, the real challenge is you might know what those activities are, but are you prioritizing them? So, you know, I've been saying in this Ignite #Love in Schools movement that relationships are urgent. The most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. And I often say before you can fully love and lead others, you have to fully love and lead yourself. So you owe it to yourself to prioritize these activities. So if you haven't made it a habit, do that now. One of my favorite stories about sharing this kind of work with participants is a woman who wanted to be a rock star. She married a man who wanted to be a rock star. Well, they're busy with work, they're busy with a young family, and after my session, she said, you know what? I gotta have more of that. I gotta do it. So she and her husband signed up for the church music group. And every Wednesday they practiced and they were rock star. I went back at the end of the school year for a different session, and she said, oh my gosh, it was so good. We're kind of a mess with our family on that day. We're eating French fries and, we're barely making it through the day, but it's so good for my husband and me. Not only just our relationship, but we are totally energized the rest of the week. Thank you for nudging me to go do what deep down I know I need to be doing. So those are the kind of things. So put them on your calendar, okay? Prioritize them. There has to be something bigger inside you, burning inside you, that you say yes to. And those other things will take care of themselves. Okay, next, I want to talk about relationships outside of you. Okay, so assuming you're being good to you, it's going to be easier to be good to others. But another thing we sometimes struggle with in schools and at home is finding time for one-on-one relationships. We're trying to pack it all in a classroom setting. We're trying to fit the family in and just go. But be intentional about one-on-one time. And it doesn't have to be big one-on-one time. Hey, we're going on a camping trip or we're going to Kentucky Kingdom. It can be go to the grocery store, or it can be go for a walk. Okay, so again, here I am in McConnell Springs. This is a path. It goes all the way around. It goes up to a bur oak tree that's almost 300 years old. This is one of my favorite places to take my daughter, Holly. She likes to walk and hike, and just that one-on-one time, 15 minutes of one-on-one time is so important. And so this is a good time to talk about the fact that we're made up of 4 dimensions: mind, body, heart, and spirit. Okay, so humans are made up of those 4 dimensions: mind, body, heart, and spirit. And we have to take care of all 4 needs. The key is, if you can find activities that hit on more than one need, you're doing great work. So I like to consider this like triple dipping. So if I'm walking with Holly in McConnell Springs, one-on-one time, I'm taking care of my heart, my emotional needs. Okay. I'm also taking care of my physical needs. We're going to go up and down, and it's a pretty good hike. And so I've got physical, emotional, and spiritual. Okay, here I am in the evening. There's nobody here, but there's something about being in nature. In fact, I'm not kidding. Right here, oftentimes deer will come by. Feels like I'm in a Disney movie. I think someday I'll be able to feed them, berries right out of my hand. They're so tame. But there's a spiritual element to being here, where the water is forced up out of the earth, and a couple hundred yards down the path, it goes into a sinkhole. Okay, there's a timelessness to this. And it just sort of rejuvenates my spirit. So body and emotions, with a key relationship with my daughter, and the spirit. So in a 15-minute walk, I've addressed 3 out of the 4 dimensions. So my goal every day, and I hope you make it your goal every day, is that in some way you hit on all 4 dimensions. Okay? It doesn't have to be big and bold, but it has to be a little bit every day. So I like to say PIES, P-I-E-S, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Every day I'm going to have my PIES, okay, and I'm going to do something physical, maybe just go for a walk. Maybe do yoga, maybe stretch, maybe just eat well. Just know that's good for my body. And then intellectual, something beyond school. Okay, it's not just intellectual for work, but it's learning something new, a new language, a new instrument, creating art, something that challenges my brain, even like puzzles. Okay, brain health. There's a lot of research out there that anything new and different is so good for the brain. So I have to do something for I, intelligence, okay? And then the E, emotion, PIES, physical, intellectual, emotion. That's the heart. That's the relationship. So I have to know those key relationships. So it could be just calling my mom. It could be, sitting down and checking in with my wife at the end of the day and just having some shoulder time and just really listening and seeing how she's doing. It could be prioritizing friendships. Okay. And I know a principal, and this is a great tip, who schedules a lunch every Wednesday. Every Wednesday she has 3 friends, and every Wednesday she has lunch with a different friend. And the 4th Wednesday of every month, she just has lunch with herself. Again, to remind herself of that key relationship with herself, have a quiet time, still time. But how awesome is that? So once a month, she has that quality time with 3 key friendships. Okay, that's an example of taking care of the emotional part. And then spiritual. Okay, again, it can be your faith. It can be journaling, praying, reading your Bible, reading a good, being out in nature. But there's got to be something that you do for your spirit. Okay, could be really good music. And what is it that rejuvenates your spirit? But every day, run through that. PIES, physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. Are you having your pies? But then remember, McConnell Springs, this is a place where I can triple dip. So right now on your sheet, I want you to reflect, what are some activities, go-to activities, that if you're running out of time at the end of the day, you can hit on more than one dimension. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to reflect on those questions. Okay, so in addition to scheduling those kind of lunch meetings, I challenge you to put into your calendar an automatic reminder to call key people who give you wisdom. Okay, I've got some friends who just are so good and always seeming to give me exactly what I need at tough times. And I'm really good about calling them when I need to. But I also have a friend who I consistently check in, and that does something really good for both of us. But I call these also my butt dial friends. There's got to be somebody in your phone, right, that you automatically kind of butt dial by accident. When you find that location, put that person in there, okay? I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. But you have to have those people that you seek wisdom with. So again, I want you to pause and think about at least 3 people that you would go to seek that kind of wisdom and relationship. No, you're fine. No, thank you.
See, look at the little bubbly. It was bubbly more last time.
Okay, now those of you who've been to my session, you know it wouldn't be complete if I didn't teach you WOMPIes. Okay, W-O-M-P, actually there's two M's in there, WOMMPYS. And whether or not you can bring this and make it happen in your school community, I hope you can. But actually, I hope you do it for yourself too. This is developed by Dr. Marsha Parsons out of University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Actually, I added the Y and the S. So WOMP is hers. And I will show you that. And this is, again, when you're short on time, but you instantly need to just rejuvenate your brain, get some good blood flowing throughout your body. Okay, so the W is water. Okay, you've been watching me drink water. I drink it all day long. Yes, you have to go to the bathroom more, but remember that's when you get breaks. I talked to Dr. Polio. He said school counselors can give themselves an extra minute to every bathroom break just for themselves. Take a few minutes of that extra minute of breathing, extra minute of reflection, extra affirmation, add a boy, add a girl, whatever you need. Now, he didn't really say that, but you deserve it. Okay. So the W is water. The O is oxygen. I know you hear a lot about breathing and it's really awkward. We take shallow breaths all day long, short little shoulder breaths, belly breaths. You have to learn to breathe where your belly comes out, push it out. Okay. So right now I want you to take some deep breaths. Couple more. Really push out that carbon dioxide, that junk, really exaggerate it. One more really deep breath, like you have 80 birthday candles and you have to get them all. Here we go. Now, some of you might be lightheaded. That's okay. That's normal. Okay, it's normal. You're getting oxygen to your brain, and that's a good feeling. Now, the M is marching, and so just march in place. Just kind of move wherever you are and feel comfortable. Kind of stretch it out, shake it out. Okay, march. Kick your knees up a little higher. Okay, wherever you're comfortable. The second M is a crossover midline march. Okay, so cross and over and touch something on the other side of your body. It could be an ear, an elbow, a knee. Okay, a midline march gets both sides of the brain working together, right? Saying, hey, buddy, where were you? We should get together more often. This is great. I like working with you. So hopefully your brain is coming alive. Okay, a couple more midline marches. All right, the P is crossover. So you cross your legs like this, cross your arms like this, and you come underneath and you massage the roof of your mouth with your tongue. Okay, you massage the roof of your mouth with your tongue, and that should wake up the last back part of your brain. Okay, I added the Y, which is to yell something silly. So if you're doing this with your class, yell something crazy like onomatopoeia, or encourage a kid to yell something, or just a reminder, do something different and a little bit crazy. Kids today crave novelty. It's why they watch YouTube videos of people opening up eggs and see what's inside. Okay, novelty is good for the brain. Now the S is shaking. Okay, there's something called traumatic tremoring. So just shake it out, shake it out. I know this sounds really weird, and there's certain songs that have the perfect beats per minute. So here's what I'm going to sing to you. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah, Shani and lightning, rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah, Shani and lightning. Low rider, da-na-na-na-na-na, rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah. Hopefully you're still shaking with me. So traumatic tremoring, it just recalibrates. It happens naturally in nature. If you saw something horrible or horrific or a car accident, you just kind of shake and regulate yourself. Or imagine if you ate some really nasty food For me, it's like clams. You just kind of like it does so many good things. So if you womp and you take a minute of shaking, it almost feels like you had a 60-minute massage. So it's a real easy way of giving yourself some quality self-care. Okay, so yes, I recorded this a week ago, but I'm here with you now, and we're going to take some time to continue to reflect on some of the things you saw. I'll take some questions. We'll have some more discussion. But again, share the things that have worked for you in the past. If you're bold enough, put out something that you're going to do now, because you'll be more likely to do it. And like I said, this was a 30-minute workshop. It's kind of fun. I enjoyed this time with you. Thank you for choosing my session. The real work is what you do after this. Don't be overwhelmed. Pick 2, maybe 3 things. Prioritize them a little bit every day. Make it a habit. I like to call them mind over mattress moments. What are your mind over mattress moments? I say that because sometimes setting that alarm is sometimes our worst enemy. But if you make a promise to yourself that you're going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to go for a walk or to write in your journal, keep that promise. If you hit snooze, it's like a dip in your own bucket, okay? Whatever you say you're going to do at night, stick to it. Sometimes it's sleep. If you need 7-8 hours of sleep, give yourself the sleep. If you can get up and exercise, do it. If it's a writing, if it's tackling a project, whatever. And some of you are not morning people, but those mind over mattress moments, they apply throughout the day. What are you going to do for you to make you a better you so that you can be the kind of person you want to be for your colleagues, your leaders, your students, your school's families, your family, but most importantly, yourself? You get one go at this. What promises are you going to make and keep for yourself?